It's Marius Martin again, your fourth grade writing CTO for the 2017-2018 school year. As we begin to look at Unit 4, I want to go over the agenda for the video. We're going to first start by discussing the important dates that are upcoming. Then we're going to move toward the scope and sequence, the unit at a glance, the Unit 4 assessment, 5 new AMLs that I've put together, a new resource, as well as some questions, comments, and concerns you might have. For the upcoming dates, I'd like to highlight two. The first being January 9th, 2018. That is when Collaboration 2 will take place. And then January 16th, 2018 is when Unit 4 officially begins. And February 23rd, 2018 is when Unit 4 ends. Let's go ahead and look at the scope and sequence now. As always, a soft copy of this is located under the fourth grade Blackboard page underneath the course curricular documents and course vision and supporting documents. This video will only highlight a few of the components under this document, so please take the time to review it in its entirety at a later date. As you can see, Unit 4 will be taught over the course of 6 weeks. That will include 24 instructional days and 4 flex days. In my unit at a glance, you'll see how I've outlined how to use the instructional days. The flex days, however, can be used at your own discretion. To give my personal scholars a break from expository writing, I plan to use my flex days as ways to incorporate more creative writing, particularly persuasive writing, as well as how-to. Looking at the unit at a glance for Unit 4, as a reminder, this document is located under the fourth grade writing folder, under the unit and lesson plans, and then under that subfolder, the unit at a glance and unit previews. As with Unit 3, we're going to be focusing on an expository writing for this unit. We're going to be using the Common Assessment 3 as a benchmark for STAR, and just as a reminder as well, that is the release STAR test from 2016. Because of that, it's really important that as scholars leave this unit, they are 100% confident with all of the components of expository writing. In addition to just the essay or composition component, we're going to be looking at 4 individual grammar TEKS for this unit. Those TEKS are 4.21b, which involves capitalization, 4.20a, which involves parts of speech, 4.21c, which is over punctuation, 4.22a, spelling patterns. To make it a bit easier to differentiate on here between the composition and grammar TEKS, I went ahead and added a colored backdrop to any section in the unit at a glance that refers to grammar. As always, my suggestion is to teach this or each of these grammar TEKS over the course of a week, and to do that in conjunction with the expository composition itself. Although the main focus of Unit 3 is our compositions, I wanted to point out a few of the differences under the grammar TEKS as you start to use those in conjunction with teaching the compositions. As I mentioned before, we're going to be focusing on 4 TEKS, which you can see displayed here. However, I wanted to note how the indicators for these TEKS and the individual indicators that we're looking at are quite different from those from Unit 3 and Unit 2. For example, if we take a closer look at 4.20a, you'll notice that we're focusing on indicators 6 and 7. These are addressing the use of reflexive pronouns as well as correlative conjunctions. So when you're planning these grammar lessons, please just make sure that you're looking very specifically at what indicators under the TEK that we're going to be focusing on for the unit. Additionally, on the objective assessment portion of the unit at a glance, I provided some examples of STAR and CA aligned questions that will be tied directly to these sub-indicators. The unit assessment for Unit 4 is going to be a little bit different from those that we've done before because this one will include 2 parts. Part 1 will assess understanding of the grammar TEKS, and Part 2 will be an expository composition. When I was coming and making the prompt for the composition, I was very intentional in picking one that mirrored the wording of the prompt on CA3, which again will be our benchmark. In most prompts, scholars are expected to give 2 reasons or explanations in order to address the central idea. However, on CA3, they're specifically instructed to write about one thing that they like about 4th grade. In the past, I've noticed that scholars have had difficulty making that shift. So hopefully exposing them to a similarly worded prompt prior to the CA would help them just be a little bit better prepared for that. One exciting update for this unit is that we have gone ahead and added 5 new annotated model lessons, and they're also available on Blackboard right now. The lessons will cover the following topics. So number 6 will be about writing about a personal experience. Number 7 is going to be a response to literature. I chose the novel Because of Winn-Dixie to respond to, as that is a text that most fourth graders are quite familiar with. Number 8 is about revising and editing using time-ordered transition words and transition words that include a conclusion. This is a really easy win for them if they were able to get the transitions down very comfortably, and it really helps with the organization and structure of our essays. Number 9 is about spelling words with a base and root words and affixes and prefixes. And number 10 is going to be about writing a final draft in response to feedback from peers and or teachers, and then using that feedback to publish your actual essay. On the resource page, as always, I've gone ahead and updated that as well. For this unit, the biggest update is going to be the addition of a folder entitled Star Camp. In this folder, you will find 5 days worth of materials that can be used for any sort of STAR/CA3 review camp. For each day, I've provided some sort of a mini lesson, a game, an exit ticket, and then a writing prompt and or revising and editing questions. Feel free to use any and all of this at your discretion. You can alter it if you like, but it's just a really great resource with a lot of materials there. So you have some kind of a basis if your school is doing a CA camp or review camp for writing. As always, I know this was a lot of information, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you need additional resources, you want me to explain something to you a little bit better, please, please, please don't hesitate to email me. My email is listed here as mamartin@uplifteducation.org. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.